All right, we're in it. All right. It's your Mexican muscle, man. It's good to see you, bro. It's been a long time.
What's up, my guy? How's things been? How's life?
Life, man. Life's a roll. Life's a fight.
Yeah, for sure. Come on now. Come on, I already
Yeah,
know. That's what's up. It's
yeah.
good. I see it. I see
Thanks
you on
for
social media.
overall.
Yeah, I see you
Yeah,
on
I
social
appreciate it.
media. Just doing your thing. So that's what's up. It's good to see you now. Because you're in Denver.
Yeah, man. I'm in Denver, but like I've been out here 10 years, but the plan was to always be, some people are bi-coastal, New York, LA. I was like, I'm gonna be bi-Midwestal, Colorado, Ohio. So
Yeah.
we're working on it. This is a step in the direction.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. Well, I know you fairly well, but let's take it back to the origins. So you're originally from Toledo, Ohio. Tell me a little bit about what was the spark like, your hometown, your journey, and what the spark was to get you into MMA.
It's like what, 15 years? 15 years? So I think
Yeah.
you got me beat by a couple, one or two, right?
My first amateur fight was '06, first pro fight '08, but we were on the same time,
Because
2010,
I was
11.
09
Okay.
at the end of '09, so you know what I mean.
Okay.
But 15 years. Like I said, back in '09, I was going through life. Didn't I was in school. I went to Perrysburg High School. Um,
Okay.
only wrestling was my life. Wrestling was it. So I was like a DNF student out of season, like a nice B low range student all the way through in
Right.
season. You know what I'm saying? So about a year or two after I think I was 22, it kind of hit the scene out in Toledo. A boy hit me up from wrestling and was like, "Hey, you should they're having first fight out here in Toledo. You should hit this number. I'll go check out the gym." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not really my thing." You know what I'm saying? I was slinging and banging, doing that lifestyle. So I didn't want nothing to do with wrestling or none of that. You know what I mean? So it was like he called me right back. Actually, on the phone, he called me right back. I was like, "No, you should go check it out. Like, you can make some money at this stuff." And I was like, which mean, and this is back in the day, you know what I mean? So you could make some change as an amateur. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's funny to watch it kind of come back around because now you can make money as amateurs, you know what I mean? To where like you
Mhm.
could, and then they regulated it. So the only people that made money was probably besides ticket sales, you know, and now it's kind of like with everything how it is now, social media wise, like especially in high school and stuff. So, but but yeah, man, that's when I started. I wanted to check out a little gym under Jose Martinez, and he owned 360 MMA. He's a multiple time Naga champ, and you should know
Yeah.
BJJ. Well, yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kind of got started. Long story short, I went 15-0 as an amateur. Kind of like going to summer camp for 6 months and then fighting two fights, going to summer camp and then fighting two fights. So still living that lifestyle, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was doing that and went 15-0 as an amateur. And I met Nicole, my wife now. I met her at my fourth amateur fight at the King of the Cage out in Michigan. And she was like, "Let me know when you want to get serious." I was like, "What you mean? What? I'm here. I'm 4-0. What do you mean? You know?" So,
Mhm.
and now I know what she meant because then I ended up going 2-4 as a pro. So I
Mhm.
kind of turned around and I hit her up. Was like, "Hey, what do I got to do?" So at the time I was fighting 55. She was like, "Listen, you gotta get into a real gym. You gotta drop to 45, and you gotta move." I said I could do drop to 45. Like I get into a real gym, you're right, but like, why I gotta move? And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I got kids here. So she's like, because you're always going to be a product of that environment. So,
Mhm.
you know, I thought that it sat on me. I ended up shortly after that making the move out here. Me and her had a thing anyway. So it was a kind of like a all inclusive package, you know? So,
I love that.
uh,
And shout
so
out to Nicole. Not shout out to Nicole. She's a veteran in this game who's helped and support a lot of people. And
oh, yeah.
this sport with her in Northeast Ohio wouldn't be what it is without her. So I appreciate
Oh,
you
no,
mentioning
way. No, yeah, for sure. So, it was just that was how it really got started. And then I moved out here, trained at Victory for like our first year and a half, and you know the story of that. Fought Terry. I was like,
it.
well, might as well train at the place with the guy that that beat me. So let's rock. You know what I mean? And then the journey went on. Ended up going to Chicago and training three training camps out at Strong Style too. Made that little bridge with them. So, you know, I trained a lot. Pretty much trained everywhere in Ohio. You know, so and then the journey got started. Like, been riding the wave ever since, and it's I now had the team for 12, 13 years now. So we're nice, and now we're here. You know, 15 years later,
so
still rocking.
So I was gonna ask. So like, tell me about your camp training now, and feel free to mention some of your supporters, sponsors, and who this like main ecosystem is now for you.
No, yeah, I'm actually in the gym right now. This is actually the little pro shop. I got the fighter house upstairs and then the gym downstairs. You know, when the whole COVID hit, it kind of gave me a different outlook on what things could be. I was at the point to where I was already at the UFC Fight Pass level, so I got a shit ton of fights in the COVID. You know, I fought once and then fought 3 times, so it was not that big of a deal. But for a minute there, when it was all shut down, it was like, oh, well, if we do get this back, it just put a spin on things, man. So I scaled back. I went back to the farm, went not commercial, and I was really just because my son's asthmatic, so he's got a high immune system. So we got to watch that. So during that time period, I was training by myself, riding the bike to the farm, training 4 days a week, still just by myself. You know, and doing what I had to do. So, you know, that put a big spin on things, and that's why I scaled back and did, rather than the gym, I did a team. I got a house for guys that they can come and crash at. You know, when you're looking at, I'm looking at it like I got my run, and then what do I want after it? Well, I mean, I'm not really looking to run a huge gym, but like I don't want to be a fat lazy Mexican and not do anything, and maybe just sit in the corner and teach people how to fight. You know what I mean? So that seems like a good life. That's in the you know, now it's in the almost the vision lightweight.
You can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It's on the horizon.
Yeah, and I was never there before. You know what I mean? So, like real talk, this has always been good. This that wasn't matured yet. Took me a long time to mature, and it's cool to be now where I'm at now and have this and that. Training's been different, life's been different. Like I said, I just got what I need, and it's good. It's putting dubs on the board. We're right where we need to be, and
that's beautiful.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, man. It's happy to hear the I'll say the peace in your voice and the focus. You know what I mean, and the I think the awareness of the journey. You know?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It is.
Yeah, man.
So that's our.
What you said earlier. That's beautiful. So as you mentioned, it's funny. I was looking back at records. I started my pro career 1 and 2, and when you start that, you're like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like you don't feel great coming out of the bucket. So
not after 15 and 0, not even touched. You know, I'm from Toledo, and then coming out here and fighting in NAFs, fought guys like Brian McCroskey. All right, yeah, you already know that was a war. You know what I mean? I had no idea what I was doing back then. I was doing jiu-jitsu 4 or 5 days a week at USA Martial Arts, and that's where I moved to after my first. You know what I mean? That was my second gym. That's where my foundation got under them in the Gracie system. So I got a lot of my jiu-jitsu there for the meat of my career when I was out there. So I was coming out here not knowing what it was. So it's been full circle.
So with that, you know, obviously we as we discussed, we've been at this a while, and so you know the goals and I don't think your motivation changed, but I think the goals and the vision sometimes change. So like, talk a little about now, but in the game 15 plus years, on a 2-fight win streak, like you said, things are good. You're in your groove. What are some of the goals and aspirations that you have now at this point in your career?
You know, it's one of those things where it's like I've only had the one goal. When I first started fighting, it was to because I was living a shitty life. And I'm there 24/7 with my kids as my two daughters growing up, and I'm like, this isn't like a good role model, let alone even if I'm here, well, I'm not here, you know. So it's like when I found MMA, I found like that was a way out. I didn't just like run and take off. No, I called my mom, my dad, my brother at the time, and my grandpa, who's like my number one supporter. And I called him. I said, "Hey, look at this," and I showed him my first fight. And I didn't say shit. I didn't tell nobody, but I sold 300 tickets. You know what I'm saying? They had no idea. Like it happened on 2 weeks. You know, that's how I fell into it. But you know, it just organically happened. And you know, it's kind of like when I started it, I was like, my brother's like, "Yo, look at this. Come here, let me show you something." And it was like the Ultimate Fighter, Nate Diaz, Tony Ferguson. That's about the time when I started it. Like, I don't know, maybe, you know, but when I got into it, it was always the UFC. There's been no other goal. And now as the circle has changed, like and it's come full circle, I can happily sit here satisfied and say it's still the only goal. It's still the only goal. Things are just different now because obviously you have a shelf life, you have a window, and I'm gonna be honest. Without Nicole, I ain't getting that. I got a lot of windows. My window hasn't closed because of her. I went from moving out here, training full time, going out to Chicago 10 months, and being on a 5-5 win streak, like right there in the UFC eyes, to getting the team going on a 9-fight skid. Not know where life was, you know what I'm saying? And the COVID hits, all that, and you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where, do you really know what's going on? What are the goals? You know, I'm starting to lose people, I call them family members, but fans or whatever, you know, and because they are friends and they're family, but it's just like you started to lose that, and you start to like they wonder like, well, how many more times are you going to make it? What's up? And I think it just came from already making it. The minute I wasn't the same guy that I was before. Either, like, I'm not perfect, but I handle my shit. Like, I have a wife, a relationship, a family, all that. When all that is entailed, you have a different picture. And I got comfortable. Like at that point in my career, I was fighting on UFC Fight Pass. Like I'd never say no. 5 days notice, Nick Newell. Like we can go on with the list today. You know what I'm saying? That time period, I wasn't fighting to get into the UFC. I kind of had already made it. Mentally. My family's good. Everybody's good. I'm not the same person. You can't Google me and find that shot. You know what that shot is I'm talking about. Well, you can't find that no more. Because I changed it. And it took some time. Like I said, but maturity. This can only be so good. Like the present so much. This is the main piece. So without that, you can only go so far. And I feel like I just hit a point in my career where I was like, at that, I had already made it. I was comfortable. Like, I'm able to enjoy my life here, have my family back home, have 2 fan base. Like, I guess if I really could put my mind together and I can make money off of my name. But still on paper, there's still only one goal. You know, so it's just been that. So it hasn't changed at all. It's just one of those things to where that's still the main goal. That's the other goal. 37, like I said, that shelf life. My shelf life is great because my car is all good. I'm just driving a Hummer now. I'm just driving a Hummer. You know what I'm saying? I went from a Chevy to a nice Benz when I first got out here, and now I need the tank to roll through these guys because it ain't getting no younger, and these guys are only getting younger. They're
Right.
starting in MMA. So now it's a different breed of guys. You know, you don't have one forte. You just have well-rounded fighters now coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be on the I'm only fighting guys with 10 and up. Why? Because that's what the UFC wanted. They wanted numbers. You know what I'm saying? You know as well as I do. You weren't even getting looked at. Even coming from NAS, unless you had a 9-1, 10-1, you know, or even a couple losses, they were still taking you, but like you needed double digits.
Mm-hmm.
And the game has changed. It's the complete opposite now. The complete opposite. So part of fighting when I am in right now, I feel like the most important part is evolving with the game. So that's why I got to scale back. Hey, bro. Yeah. Do me a favor. Got my charger just in case. It's in the top part of my bag. But evolving, right? Evolving with the game is important. You know, so I feel like I've been able to do so. We should. I've been able to do so with scaling back and making of my camp private. It's just my team. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we can all bunker in here and we're good. We got everything we need. So it's changing. The goal is still the same. I feel like I said, the maturity comes, and can be great, but without this, you ain't nothing. So
Right.
if I would have listened to my wife, well, I didn't listen to my wife because I didn't have this. Okay, if I would have listened to my wife, I wouldn't, you know, taken some of those fights and took, you know, in the beginning. I probably would have been, you know, 10-0, and then in the UFC. You know, so but he's in control for me. He gave me this side, he showed me this, all of it. And I'm only here because of him. So like I said, I made it a long time ago. And I got comfortable. Now it's like, oh shit. I gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, now let's get back to that main goal. So we scaled back, we calmed down, and we got our fun, and this is where we have it. And you know, I didn't change the name, but that's where the cartel comes from. Because like I just want some like-minded guys like me, just a couple to train every day. We can go out and get work. You see where I cross train at, you know. So it's still the same grind that it started back in '09, bro. It's just different now. So now that this is here, it's been good. Training's been good, life's been good, and like I said, we have a lot of success coming out of this camp. So it's been nice.
That's great.
Yep,
I appreciate it. Appreciate you sharing that. I often say, it's a quote from Rakim and Jay-Z: "Constant elevation creates expansion."
Oh yeah.
And you know, it's great to hear you. It's great to hear your holistic view of the game, the sport, and everything in that regard.
It's nice.
Let's jump into this fight. So obviously, you know, the game and the way we train in MMA has changed over the years. You know, depending what gym you were at back in the day, it was rock'em sock'em robots, and that's what you were doing. You know? Everything was a little bit different. What's a bit? I'll wait for you a second.
No, you're good. You're good. I was just plugging in. All right, we're good. Go ahead.
So like I said, back in the day, rock'em sock'em robots. You'd leave your career in the gym sometimes. What are some like the training adaptations you've made over the recent years, and then what's preparation and training been like for this fight?
To be honest with you, I hit a level, and that's why I go out to roots, because I know something that I really didn't care about in my early careers was getting around the highest level. Getting around the highest level. I felt like if I trained with this, then I was good. Well, I mean, that's good shape, but there's a level up there. And when I go out to roots, I get around guys like Jared Brooks and Tank, and this is our current world champion. Like, you know, me and him been great friends, and now if I know if the blades sharpen with each other like that, then I'm like, I believe in this, you know. So when it comes to like my training, I still get my hard goes. I get one hard spar once a week rather than two, and possibly three, and then I'll go 5 flow days, you know, to where like all my striking consisted of flow rounds. Being flow landing enough to like maybe mark me up a little bit, but my brain's not getting locked around. We're not just slugging it out, exactly what you say. You know what I mean? Friday nights is for that. You know, so I keep that in that, and that's pretty much strength. I have a wrestling day a week, roll 3 to 4 times. Like I go as much as I can, but like back in the day, I would train 4 times a day, 3 times a day, and then I would do camps where I was only 2 times a day, and I both won and lost on both. So I feel like you can only get in so much of good shape for a fight. 15 minutes, you know what I'm saying? It's not too long. It's going to be hard as fuck anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, did I take down my sparring? Maybe to 1 time a week, though. You know, but me and my guys get it. So sometimes we'll scale up. It'll peak up, you know what I mean? Too many times in your week, you know, but I try to keep it that. And like I said, I just make sure I go out enough times to get that sharpen against that high level of a blade. And then come back and work with my guys because everybody here is getting to that level. You know, so like I was saying, that horizon out there, I put 2 20-year-old kids in here that want to get after it. Okay, one guy for my boy who's a 25er but sits at 50, and one guy for me who sits every other move. Sweet, that's all I need. Every day sharpen, and then we'll go out here to pump. You know, so when it comes to like the training differences. A little bit less sparring, but at the same time, listen, bro, if you come in here asking, I'm gonna give it.
I'm gonna give it to you. We can see about it.
So,
we can see about it.
Yeah, listen, nothing else. So don't say that more. You know what I mean? So
right.
But yeah, no, not much change. I go solid 2 times a day, and usually 3 days, 3 times a week.
Cool.
So still training. Like I've been fortunate enough to have been injury free. It's been nice. Like I said, I think that comes to do with the training. Like I said, we scaled back and we're here now. So I have the ice back there, recovery, all that shit. So, and you know, you see the sponsors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When I get in town, I have to pull up on you. I'm an ice bath guy these days.
Oh yeah.
I have to pull up on you. I'll be in town the 15th for the week of the fight, so I'll definitely reach out.
Come on.
Yeah. So let's talk about this fight. So you and Dusty have had some chatter. There's been some things said back and forth. I believe you used to train together. Tell me a little bit how this fight came through, and I guess maybe speak on the relationship in the fight.
See, that's the thing. I've been asked this a couple times. To be honest with you, like yes, I know Dusty. He trained under my boy, who was my coach at the time, Chito, Derek. It's like, hey, and Chito was kind of like would let me pick from guys that he had anytime. I was like, hey, what's up with him? Like, it's my weight, like, you know what I'm saying? Had him out to train, came to train one day. He said, bro, I'll let him come back. Like, all right, cool. You know, just let me know when. Like 2 days later, he wanted to train again. So, you know, it is what it is. After that, never really seen him. Like, really didn't talk to him in like, I don't know, 2 years or so. You know, and he's in my weight class. I don't train with Chito no more. Like I'm not afraid to put anything out there. I'll talk about it if y'all want to talk about it. But I mean, it's not hey, look, I'm gonna just bash my old coach. You know what I'm saying? Me and him, I left him and we split ways. Mutually. You know what I'm saying? But there was a reason why I left him. No, we haven't spoke on that to even each other yet. So student maestro. I don't know whose job it is to come talk. I've mentioned it before, you know what I'm saying? I was in the real age to where you had the respect. So that's what it was. But we'll put it like this: like I'm at the highest level on the UFC Fight Pass, fighting for a world title, and my brother, who's really my cousin, first cousin, but really my brother who I grew up with. He took his own life. He shot himself. Actually, he was from Salt Lake City. He moved out to Salt Lake City. And this is a guy who was there for every one of my fights that he could. Like, yeah, he flew in every time for me to lose. Like, but like every time he did a come, I won. So it was good. You know, he's the one who said, "Don't ever stop." My Thea, his mom, she owns an Olympic, not an Olympic, but a gymnastics gym in Atlanta where he's from. He did gymnastics, so they know the grind of an athlete life. So she knows what it's done for me. that happened 2 weeks before that fight, so I was really putting my gloves down and putting them to rest, like putting him and that in his name. I would hope that I had the guys in charge of my career that would pick up those notes from me and say, don't make a decision like this on this. No, right now. That's why we had those guys. And it wasn't. So I right before I went out, I don't know what some click. The wires touched. I was like, hold on a second. I went and grabbed my gloves and then went back. Because I wasn't ready. It's just an emotional part. So that day I put it to rest. And thank God I did, because then the COVID hit, and after that, that was kind of in the COVID, but we got back to full go, and I was able to now put out the best fights in my career. Only losing one close controversial. I got needed, and that's 6 times in one fight. But yeah. You know what I mean? It was a split, so I would have definitely took a full decision in that case, but. Good guy. Otherwise, the only loss I got is to Chris Material, for the Dana White show. But I put out my best material, and wins on the board since that. So it was the right decision, and I just felt a certain type of way. So, that happened. But I mean, that's not bashing him. That's just it is what it is. That's why I left. So, and he still trains under him and has since then. And it is what it is. This is the fight game, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've always been kind of picky on who I fight, meaning I don't let my wife give me some undercard stuff. Come on, man. We trying to get the best one out all the time since day one. But I promised I would just not do that anymore, and she could do her job.
Right.
Said we don't need no more names. We need numbers.
Yeah.
You're riding good right here. This guy's in your weight class.
See about it.
All right, cool. You guys, you don't like him, right? I mean, I don't care for the guy. I don't know the guy like that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But at the end of the day, it's just business. But I don't think there's really anything more on that. Like I said, if there is, I don't know. Whatever, I'm obviously not paying attention to it.
Right on. Gotta stay focused on your stuff.
But right now, that shelf life, somebody come and knock me off the shelf before, but I'm back on the shelf. So I'm gonna stay right there. I don't care, you know what I mean? So we're putting out those. That's who's in front of me right now. So
that's awesome.
You got to get it.
Let's go. I appreciate the energy.
Yep.
So with that, like you said, there's still the goal is the goal, and you've got a story. You're likable. You're marketable. There's all that. Do you look at a fight like this? You're on a 2-fight win streak and say, all right, I'm on a 2-fight win streak. I take care of Dusty. I need this much more to happen, and I think I get back to the UFC. You're like, what does that sound like?
Definitely. So off of the Dana White show, there's a little story there if you want to, you know what I mean? After the fight, I see Matt Serra and I got to talk to Dean Thomas, right after, you know what I'm saying? They take us to the back, whatever. Dana wasn't around, so I was like, damn, I'm not going to get no FaceTime. I can't even get a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If this is my peak, bro, let me get a peek then, right?
Yeah.
All night went on. I don't know where he went. I would keep it 100. It was cold in Boston. Me and my coach I was the closest gas station a mile away. We're gonna hike it and go get this blunt, bro. Come on, let's do it. Rolled up, walking back, smoked it. It's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
My coaches are kind of oh, let's go find some food, and I'm yeah. It starts to sink in, there's no way this is the end. You know what I'm saying? Not even, you know what I'm saying? So it was just one of those moments that kind of loaded up ahead of me, and I was just walking into the thing, and Dana White's there, and he was in a mass group of reporters type shit. He turned towards me and I don't know, he might have used me to get the fuck away from him. I think that's what happened. But it turns out yeah, let me hit it. I got some time. All right, cool. I was listen, it was an honor, you know what I mean, to perform for you. I barely made it here. He's no, I know the story. He was how old are you? I was 37. I said, I know. But this is the best I've ever felt. Even losing tonight, like, that's why I wanted to get my little time with you to get this. He was like, listen, man, you're only 37. No, I'm not looking to hire anybody over 35. But at the same time, if you do your work, your name will come across my desk again. So I feel like every fight is that for me now. And it's been like that for about 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I got more wins and losses than in the past 2 years. So that's what matters. And after that fight, I went up a level, and I've been staying there at that level. Even though I've been fighting down here at this level, just saying the level underneath, we handle in business. These guys don't make it out. They make it out, period. And like I said, I just taken this into play, and it's personal every time now. Guys are like, don't fight personal. I was like, no, I'm not. But like, it's personal because it has to be. Otherwise, it's not enough. It's not going to be enough. So I make every fight personal. And this one, like I said, I sat cage height for this guy's for Dusty's last fight. And I was in cage height with my boys, and that was the night that my boy took the title, and we're sitting there, and he's going and Chito's like calling out my combos that I got in that board in there. And I got names for them because they're just like, I'm ADD. I have to remember what I do, you know?
Yeah.
But come on, man, you can't even. You calling out my combos? He's not even hitting them. And if you're gonna use my combos, like, get your guys to hit them. Not to mention, you don't have to take my shit, but you can rename it something. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using it. I'm just saying, man. So, like, if it's that, all right, that's enough. That's cool. That makes it personal for me. Let me show you how this is done. Let me call out a cowboy 2 and hit this, and you know which one it is. See, that's why you smile, because you know which one it is, because it's the highlight reel. You know what I mean? That's why it sticks. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's got to be personal. If it's not, you're probably not going to go very far. You know, so I've been right there on the cusp for all these years, and I feel like this is now here. You know, so if it's that, if I think a guy's corny, then it's only that much easier to go punch him in the face, come to it, you know what I'm saying? So it's all good. But other than that, like, it's not really any more than that, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
Understood. How to get the back
good.
Right.
Yeah. And listen, boss lady says we need numbers, so that's it.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see. Am I now? At that same time that we were talking about, like, the horizon, I am now at the point where I'm not going to play with my fights. Meaning, I'm giving MMA the full run because that's what I started in. I love it. I love wrestling. I love grinding. I love ground and pound, clinch work, all that. But like, I can go hang up the gloves right now and walk into BKB for like 75 bucks. Just saying, or boxing on a Don King card. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving MMA the respect that I wanted to say, hey, at least we went the highest and fought for him. All right, that's cool. Let's go make money now. Because I'm 100% down and willing to do the BKB. I think I would go that route over boxing, even though I could probably make $1 million in boxing just because I'm Mexican and you already know. So it just goes. They love me. I don't know how.
They love y'all.
I hate it.
It's the chin. It's the chin.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think I would float it in BKB. But before that, I'm ranked number 1, so that matters now. And to be honest with you, I think they got me number 2. That'll change on Wednesday because I don't know how that guy got in front of me anyway. He didn't. He's coming off a loss. It's Badco. Don't get me wrong. He's good. He's solid. He's up and coming. But you can't just be unranked and jump in front of the number 1 guy. You know what I mean? That shit matters now. I've never cared about rankings, but you know, it matters. Just like I said, the game has changed. So you don't need double digits now, bro. You just need 3 highlight reels. You know, so if it works out to where like I go smash him and then beginning of the year, I really had another goal of just evening out my record, but that shit don't matter. It's just about your last 5 fights. That's it. Your last 5 fights, that's what it is. You know, so I'm happy. Everything's good. That horizon that we're talking about, I want it to stay in the horizon. because I don't want it to be in the present. Because really, coaching doesn't get it for me. It's cool and all. It's just fun. I love it, but no, bro. I need to elbow somebody in the face myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's good, man. It's good. It's food on the table, and I'm just happy to have it. You know what I mean? Right before Christmas, it'll be nice. You know what I mean? And I'll get my real payday a couple of days later when my kids are happy. You know what I'm saying? They're not always happy with me. So,
Absolutely.
So I gotta make sure that those are, and then that's here. You know what I'm saying? My son's in wrestling season right now. I'm like, dude, you missed practice. Saying what up? You know he's sick. I was like, no, he's getting better. Come on, we need to be in here. So it's not all about me anymore. He's got his own team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's how we do it. Each of us have our own teams, and we have our own careers that we go from. And don't need to be smart, and there's just enough of control. And you know, so like I said, put a little just that horizon out there, just for whatever. So I'm not ready for it to be here, and I feel great about where I'm at in my training in life and where this sport has taken me. It's been awesome. I've fought some of the best names in the world. Got to travel all over, eat good ass food, and fight, and be that guy. That's been sweet. And you know it. Everybody wanted me to call, and I just slid in, and like it was like I just come on, man. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's part of it. That's part of it. You can't leave that out. Just saying. Listen, you know, I know there was tons of motherfuckers that was mad. All right, yeah, I guess I kind of was like, oh, I didn't realize what I had. I didn't realize what I had. So it's good. It's all for the reason. It's all for the big picture of things. And like I said, I'm just happy it's good. And we got another job ahead of us in less than 2 weeks. And we're right on track. Weight's good. Training's good. And I got one more polish up to do at the end of this week out in Detroit. And then we'll be on fight week. So
it's dope.
It's good talking with you for sure.
Great talking to you as well, man. I appreciate the mindset. Appreciate you sharing, man. It's good to hear the energy in the voice. Good to hear you mention your wife. Good to hear you talk about God, bro. It's been a pleasure. We'll finish up. Anybody you want to shout out, friends, sponsors, messages, anything like that to finish up?
No, man, just everybody. You know, my mom's, my dad's been here the whole way. You know, all my motivation, my kids, my wife, my family. You know, my cartel right here. These guys grinding out with me. I know it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure I'm a dick to deal with, but I mean it is what it is. So just all my team, my sponsors, all of them, everybody that puts in the day-to-day grind with me to make it happen. You know, so otherwise, no, it was great talking to you. Like you said, yeah, without him, none of this is possible. So that's first and foremost. But yeah, it's good.
Appreciate it, man. It's been great chatting. I'll reach out. Like I said, I'll be in town Sunday the 15th. I'll reach out. Don't want to interrupt your schedule, but love to slide by the gym. Come see you.
Yeah. Anytime, bro. For real. I'm here. It's all good. Like I said, no worries. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, my bad about the 4:30. I told her I was like, man, I'm trying to do this like I did this shit before. It shouldn't be that hard. I know there's some dummies out there, so they can do it.
Good.
I know a felony can jump on an interview than I can. I'm just saying, if felonies that you know. So, but all right, bro. Like I said, I appreciate it, and otherwise, if you need anything else from me, like promo wise or whatever, just let me know. Hit my page up.
It's good.
Cool.
We'll do. Sure. Have a good night. Talk to you soon. Have a good training session. Peace.
Appreciate it.
Well.
Thanks. Yep.
So we just finished up chatting with Tony. Tony's a great human, man. It was really good to hear him speak about where he's at in life, to hear about his mindset. It's really great to just talk about his journey overall and the fact that like he still has his dreams, goals, and aspirations at the forefront of his mind. But he's also like he's enjoying the process and enjoying the journey. So yeah, that was great. And you guys see that soon.